armband leashes for adults? He clicked away from the image. If you don't like it, I can focus on a different kind of shot. His voice had the same awkward, wounded tone to it that I used to hear in my best friend Ahanti's voice when one of her clients didn't like the tattoo she'd designed for them. He must have misinterpreted my expression as disappointment with the image. I do love it. I'm... Riley? The woman's voice carried through the trees from the direction of the sleigh and horses where we'd left the rest of our tour group. It had a panicky edge to it. I spun away from Drew and jogged back toward the clearing. Next season, we were hiring a new tour guide. Wrangling guests was like herding cats. I wasn't cut out for it. This was more stressful than speaking in front of a jury. I burst into the clearing where I'd stopped the sleigh. It was a scheduled stop in a clearing set up to show how sap collection techniques had changed over the years, from wooden buckets and spouts carved by hand to the plastic tubing system we currently used. At first glance, everything looked okay. The horses hadn't trampled anyone, and Drew's girlfriend sat in the sleigh, leaning left and right with her phone held in the air with one white and blue gloved hand like she was at a concert. I might have laughed at the sight if I wasn't so grateful the spotty signal was keeping her out of trouble. I took a head count of the other 8 people on the tour. The man who came with his teenage daughter and the couple in their 60s stood on the far side of the clearing as if they'd been reading the laminated historical tidbits on the display trees. All good there. But the couple with 2 kids stood off to one side, closer to the horses, the dad holding their 2-year-old boy in his arms and the mom turning in circles. "Riley!" she called again, louder this time. Their 5-year-old daughter wasn't with them. Crap. The late March weather had warmed up compared to January and early February, but not enough that a child could be lost in the woods overnight without hypothermia. My stomach coiled into a slinky loop. Don't panic, Nicole. You're the one in charge. The mother must have spotted me because she beelined for me, her hands outstretched like she thought I might have a secret potion to make her daughter appear. We were petting the horses, and when we turned around, she was gone. My mom used to say that you could calm a frantic client by using their name. It helped establish trust. I searched my memory for the woman's name. We weren't too far apart in age, and we'd chatted for a few minutes before the tour started while waiting for the rest of the registrants. She'd been telling me that this was their first time touring Sugarwood with the kids. Her husband had booked the tour that morning from work and called her as a surprise, saying Riley was finally old enough to appreciate the sleigh ride. Don't worry, Kristen. I squeezed one of the hands she held out to me. She can't be far. We'll split up and look for her. If someone doesn't find her in 5 minutes, I'll call help, okay? My voice didn't give away how close to throwing up I felt. I split everyone up and sent them off in a starburst pattern, with instructions to walk in a straight line for 5 minutes and then follow their footprints back. The last thing I needed was for another person to get lost in the woods. The older man hung back as the others set off. He was only a few inches taller than I was, and the wind had blown his thinning hair up so that the top of his head made me think of a hedgehog curling into a ball. I wouldn't have minded curling up into a ball myself right about now. "We want to help find the little girl," he said, "but I can't leave my wife." His hands were jammed hard in his pockets, and his shoulders hunched. He didn't look back in his wife's direction, but she was watching us, so it was a safe bet she knew what he was talking to me about. She had her purple scarf wrapped around her head, protecting her ears like she was ready to trudge out into the woods. Perhaps this was a health thing. When my grandfather developed diabetes, he'd also ended up with diabetic neuropathy, where he didn't have complete feeling in his feet. It caused him to stumble. He hadn't felt comfortable walking anywhere alone after that. If one of them had a similar medical condition, they didn't need to feel like they had to explain their private business to me. And I certainly wasn't going to order them to split up if they felt uncomfortable doing it. This tour was already turning out